First and foremost, I would like to pay my respects to Bhante and to the members of the Mahasangha for this invitation, this opportunity. Before I start, I would like to invite all of you at home and here with me to pay respect to the Buddha by saying Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa 3 times with me. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So today, my talk will be about 3 ways in which we can practice the Dhamma. I get a lot of questions from young people and even their parents and grandparents about how to properly practice the Dhamma. Sometimes they tell me, Bhante, too many things, too many rules, too many books, so many things. It's so complicated. How can I practice the Dhamma when there's so many things that I need to know? I already have a lot of studying for my school. Now you want me to study more? Parents say, I have a lot of duties to do. I work all day, your parents say. How can I study? We're very busy. We're very busy people in a very busy time. I know, especially the young kids, under a lot of pressure. Straight A's all the time. Be the best, which is good. We want to have a good life. We want to try our best all the time. But then the Dhamma seems very difficult. We don't have time for this. So I want to share with you a story, okay? A story about the time of the Buddha, where there was a person, where there was a monk who also found this problem, who had this problem. So during the time of the Buddha, there was a monk, and he had to learn all the rules for the monks. Do you guys know how many rules there is for the monks? A lot more than you. You have 5, right? Sometimes you do 8. Sometimes you do 10. We have 227 rules, precepts to follow. Yeah, I see your face. It's a lot. 227. That's a lot. Those are only the major rules. If we count the minor rules, there's thousands of rules. And have you ever seen all the suttas? If we get all the books, it's this big, like this big, if we get all the books. It's just like the Encyclopedia Britannica. So we have to study exactly the same size as the Encyclopedia Britannica. So many things, right? So this monk, he's like, that's too much for me. I can't practice this Dhamma. Buddhism, so many things to do. So many rules. So many suttas. How am I going to learn all of this? He says, well, I have to tell the Buddha now that this is not for me. Buddhism, the Dhamma, too many rules, too many things. I cannot practice. So he went to the Buddha. He bowed down to him, paid respect, just like you do to the monks. And he said, Bhante, there are too many rules. I can no longer be a monk. I can no longer practice the Dhamma. Too many things to do. So I'm going to leave now. Then the Sammasambuddha, Lord Buddha, told this monk, can you follow 3 rules? The monk said, 3 rules compared to 227? No problem. I can do 3 rules. I can do only 3 things. The Buddha said, okay. And this might be a verse that you know very well. So I'll say it in Pali, although I'll try to avoid Pali because I don't want to confuse you. But this time I'll say it because I think you know this. these 3 rules, okay? Sabbe papasa akaranam, kusalase upasampada, sachitte pareyo dapenam, etam buddhanusasanam. Does this sound familiar? Have you ever heard this? I've seen it sometimes in your house, like in the Singhalese. I see like a little thing in your house and it says this, right? These 3 rules are what? Sabbe papasa akaranam. To avoid all bad, all wrongdoing, all harming. That's what he told the monk, right? Can you avoid harming others, harming yourself, and harming you or others? Oh, it's very simple. Yeah, I think I can do that, right? Kusalase upasampada. What does that mean? To do good, to cultivate the good. Can you do good things? Can you guys do good things? Yeah, right? Doesn't seem too complicated to do good things. Sachitte pareyo dapenam etam buddhanusasanam. And to purify your mind. Right? These are the 3 things. Can you do these 3 things? Oh, Bhante, these 3 things compared to 227, very easy. Thank you so much, Bhante. I will stay a monk now. I will practice the Dhamma. Why do you think I told you this story? I told you this story because I know how you feel. Buddhism's so complicated, so many things to do. Your parents telling you so many things about Buddhism. You come to the temple, you hear the Dhamma talks, and so deep Dhamma, right? And sometimes it seems like there's contradictions, and it seems like it's only for monks or only for the time of the Buddha. So many things. But I think if we can practice the Dhamma in this very small, short version, these 3 practices, I think anyone here can do it. You know, even a little child, 3-year-old child, 4-year-old child who's just learning how to speak can practice these 3 things. So that's what I want to focus on today. You know, I want you to think about practicing Buddhism in these 3 ways to make it more accessible to you, to make it easier to you, for you can do it in your everyday life. So you don't think that Buddhism is only something I do on holidays or when I go to the temple or when my grandma makes me do a puja with her. No, I want you to think, oh, Buddhism is my everyday life. And everything that I do, I can practice these 3 things. Now first, what does it mean to avoid doing all bad, to not harm? Here's the great news. All of you already know this, and all of you are already doing it. So automatically, A+ for all of you. Right? You didn't even have to try anymore. I'm not asking you to do anything new. Whatever you were doing already, you're already doing this one. What do I mean by that? You are already practicing Pansila, right? Panchasila. 5 precepts. First one, not killing or harming living beings, right? Not doing bad. All of you are already doing that. You're good to go, right? Not stealing or robbing. Anyone held up a bank this weekend? No? You didn't steal anything? Ride off in a Tesla, someone else's Tesla? No? Good. Another good point on your mark, right? The other one is not to do drugs and intoxicate your mind, right? I'm sure all of you are not doing drugs, right? Intoxicating your mind. Good. The other one is no bad speech. Maybe this one, I don't know, right? Maybe you're trying your best, right? This means no lying, no harsh speech, like speaking hard, right? No saying bad words, no gossiping, probably the most difficult one, right? To talk about others, gossiping. And maybe for the older kids, it's a little bit harder, right? And the other one is no bad sexual misconduct, right? And I don't think any of you here are also doing that. So I don't think, I'm asking you to do anything that you weren't already doing, right? Not to do any bad. All of you here are already not doing any bad. I say this because I want you to know how easy it is and how practical it is for you to practice Dhamma. All of you are already practicing it, right? Very easy. It doesn't have to be so hard. Maybe the gossiping, talking bad, and that one's a little hard. We all need to work on it a little bit better, right? Especially with your brothers and sisters, right? Or your mom sometimes, or your parents when you argue. But we're trying, right? We're trying to make this better. So that's what the first one means, okay? Sabbe papasa akaranam. Kusala se upasampada. To do the good. What is it to do good? Again, all of you, automatic A pluses already. I know you're doing this. What does it mean to do good? It means to help others, to practice dana, to practice charity, to practice giving. And there's so many ways that you give. Just by being here and helping the other children that are going to be watching this, you practice dana. You're giving. You're giving the gift of Dhama, which is the highest gift you can give. The highest good you can do is share Dhama with others. What else do you do? I know all of you and your families support the monks, support the centers, the temples, the viharas. You're already doing this. You're already doing this good meritorious deed. And this other one, I'm sure you're also doing, which is honoring, respecting your parents, doing your chores, doing your homework, these things that you have to do. That is doing the good. Helping others, helping yourself, helping others help themselves, and helping others help you. There's so many ways that we can help. It's not only about money or material things, but it's about showing up and being there for people. Maybe you listen to your other friends or your brothers and sisters, right? They're having a hard time, and you listen to them, and you give them advice. Or you say, hey, let's watch a movie. Hey, let's play a game. Right? You're helping them overcome their difficult situation. You're also giving. You're cultivating the good. That's very, very important, to do good things. Right? So you're also already doing this. See, Buddhism is not that difficult. We're already more than halfway, 2/3 out of 3, right? And these are things that you're already doing. Very, very practical way of practicing the Dhamma. I think that's why that monk was so happy, right? Because he only had to do these 3 things instead of all these other things now. So the last one, Sachitte pariyo dapenam etam buddhanusasanam. The last part is, this is the teaching of all the Buddhas. The first part to that is the purification of the mind. To purify, to clean your mind, to liberate your mind. This one, maybe you're not doing yet, but I'm here to help you with that one, okay? And this one is what we call meditation, right? Maybe you practice meditation sometimes when you come to the SEAL programs, maybe sometimes at home. I don't think maybe you practice much at home, but maybe you practice when you come to the temple. But that's something you're trying, at least you're starting, okay? But I want to help you here understand meditation in a different way. When we think about meditation, how do we usually think about meditation? Like a statue, right? We think meditation means to be like a statue, right? That I'm sitting here, not moving, no problems, nothing, right? And I need a cushion, I need to sit nice, I need all these nice things to meditate. But the Buddha said that meditation is what we cultivate in our mind from the moment that we wake up until we go to sleep. So meditation just means choosing your state of mind, cultivating a state of mind, right? Thinking good thoughts, experiencing good experiences. Instead of thinking thoughts of greediness, instead of thinking thoughts of anger, instead of thinking thoughts of cruelty, resentment, jealousy, there's a long list of the bad thoughts that we can have. I think some of you are familiar with them, right? We've all had bad thoughts sometimes or felt bad. Sadness, despair, grief, lamentation. Meditation just means that when we see these bad thoughts, right, difficult thoughts, we make an effort to change our minds and to develop good states of mind for our benefit, for the benefit of others, and for the benefit of all. That's what meditation means. So every time you have a nice thought, a kind thought, a compassionate thought, a thought about giving and sharing and doing charity, guess what? You're practicing meditation. You're purifying your mind. Every time you think, oh, you know what? It'll be nice if I help my mom. It'll be nice if I help my brother or sister. It'll be nice if I help my neighbors. Every time you have a good thought, a selfless thought, a compassionate thought, an altruistic thought, you are doing bhavana. That's meditation. Meditation doesn't have to be like this. This is very difficult for a lot of us, especially on our legs, right? Maybe not for the little kids, but for some of us here, especially who are Not in an Asian country. We're not used to sitting on the ground all the time. But it doesn't have to be difficult. You don't need all these fancy things to meditate. All you need to do is cultivate good thoughts in your mind. That's what it means to practice meditation. So let's do a quick review of the 3 trainings, right? How we can practice the Dhamma in our everyday lives instead of worrying about all these things that we have to do. So much work. First one, don't do anything bad. That means don't harm. Don't harm yourself. Don't harm someone else. Don't harm yourself or someone else together, okay? Second one, to do good. Do good for yourself. Do good for others. Do good for everyone. And the third one is to purify your mind. That just means to cultivate, develop good thoughts in your mind. That easy, right? So guess what? I'm not giving you a lot of homework, right? The Dhamma doesn't have to be a long list of homework. To practice the Dhamma doesn't mean you have to, although I encourage you, and it would be nice, to read all these books, right? It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be so intellectual. The Dhamma doesn't have to be another assignment or homework. You have enough as kids, doing a good job in school. The Dhamma doesn't have to be follow all these rules very strictly all the time. Someone controlling you. That's not what it's about. It's actually about doing things that will benefit you, others, and everyone, and not harming anyone. Doing the good things, that is also practicing Dhamma. And the last one, purifying your mind, is just about you choosing to be happy and choosing what's good for you. Who likes to be sad? Who likes to be angry? Who likes to be jealous? Who likes to be greedy? No one, right? So when I'm asking you to develop good states in your mind, I'm not asking you to do anything that you don't want to do. You want to be happy. You want to be peaceful. You want to be chill. You want to be relaxed. You want to be tranquil. You want to be joyful. Those are the things that the Buddha is asking you to practice. Practice being happy. Practice loving kindness. Practice compassion. Practice happiness for others. Practice happiness for yourself. You see how easy it is? And it doesn't have to be a big chore. Sometimes adults, us, we get over ambitious. That means we want a lot from other people, or we have a good intention to help others, but maybe we're not so good at conveying that message, giving that message to you. But these are the 3 things we're actually trying to teach you. Whether you're Buddhist or not, in society at large, I think every society agrees that we shouldn't harm people. Right? Every society. That's why there's laws about not killing, not stealing, not robbing, right? Not doing all these things. We all agree. These are not good things to do. Right? To do good. Every society encourages people to do good. To practice charity, right? To help each other. Every society in the world, every country in the world encourages that with their people. And to purify your mind. Maybe to some degree every society practices it, right? Maybe not to the extent that Buddhism does. But every society, they may talk about it in different ways. So these are things that are common to all human beings, I'm trying to show you, right? These are things that, if you practice, are not only a benefit for you and for others or for other Buddhists or for you to be a good Buddhist, but for you just to be a good person in society, for you to get along with your friends and your classmates or wherever you're at in your own family. If you want to be successful, if you want to have a good time, if you want to be free from worries, if you want to be free from your parents and everyone telling you what to do and the teachers correcting you or your older brother and sister trying to control you, all you have to do is practice these 3 things. Don't harm anyone, right? So don't annoy your brother or sister. Don't annoy them, right? Don't touch their things without their permission, because that's taking without permission. That's like stealing, right? Don't talk bad about them. Don't push them or hurt them, your brother or sister or anyone around you, okay? That's how you'll get along with them. Doing good things for them, right? If you help your brother or sister, if you help your parents, they're going to feel so happy. And they're going to treat you good. So it's also going to help you to do good. And to purify the mind, that's for you to have your inner peace. for you to be chill, for you to be happy, to enjoy your life, and to progress in your spiritual practice. We have to think more than just our regular training. We all focus a lot on education, right? Our parents tell us to focus a lot on learning things, math, science, history, so many things. And those are important for the world. But there's another kind of education, the spiritual education, the Dhama education, which is also important to help you live a healthy life, to get along with others in society, and to help you reach the supreme happiness, the super happiness of Nibbana. That's what Nibbana means. Nibbana is the highest happiness, the Buddha said. Everyone here already agreed that they want to be happy, right? So if you want to reach that highest happiness, you'll be a lot happier than, getting the PS5 or the Xbox or getting the new iPhone, whatever you wanted. This is a lot happier than that. Even more happier if some of you kids here going to the new Super Mario World in Universal. You'll be more happier than that by practicing this path of peace and tranquility and being like the Buddha. The Buddha teaches us these three things because he wants us to be happy like him. He doesn't want us to suffer. He wants what's best for you at the end of the day, just like your mother and your father. Your mother and your father also want what's best for you. They care about you. That's why they brought you here. That's why they want you to learn these things. But sometimes, as I'm repeating myself a lot, we make things complicated. But I want to make things simple for you. When you go online, there's like top 10 this, top 8 this, right? Like top 10 celebrities, 5 best iPhones. Well, top 3 things you can do to be happy. Don't harm others, do good, and purify your mind, right? Think good thoughts, do good things for your mind. So I'm repeating this because the more we say it, we learn it, right? That's how we study. How did you learn your ABCs? You remember how you learn your ABCs? A, B, C, D, E, F, again and again and again. And then once you get to like 5th grade or middle school, how do you learn your timetables, multiplication tables? Repeating them, right? How do we study for a history test? Flashcards, again. So I repeat and repeat to get you to study without studying, because I don't want to give you homework. So if I repeat it, you're doing the training, you're practicing, you're doing it over and over again, but without having to use flashcards or repeat it over and over and over again. So this is the message I wanted to share with you about how we can make Buddhism simple and practical. And I can't think of a better way to make Buddhism simple and practical for the young people than to ask you and to hear from you, right? Who knows better? Who's more of an expert in your life? Who's more of an expert in being a kid or a teenager? You or me? I'm not a kid. I don't know what's going on nowadays. I'm not a teenager. Who's the expert here? You guys are the experts. I might be the expert in Dhamma, but I'm not an expert in being 10, being 12, being 15 years old. I don't know how that is. Time has changed. Technology has developed a lot. I didn't grow up with a smartphone. So now I need to rely on you for the benefit of all the other children listening to this online. And they're going to be watching this and listening to this in the future, right? How can we help these young children? How can we make it very simple? You don't have to give answers, but I would appreciate questions. Questions are very good because I want to address your concerns, right? Just like the monk. The monk came up to the Buddha. Bhante, too many rules, too much to study. I can't do this. Please help me. So I know you also think, Bhante, parents want me to come to the temple a lot. They want me to meditate a lot. They want me to do pujas a lot. They want me to do all these Dhamma activities. How can I make it simple? Here's your chance for your benefit, for the benefit of others, and for the benefit of all. What do you find difficult about practicing Buddhism, or what is confusing to you? You can be honest. Huh? Finding time, right? Finding time. So how do you think we can make it a bit easier for you to find time to practice? Maybe one of the things might be to work around your schedule, right? So sometimes parents or us, the monks, we set the schedule, right? We allot the times. This is the time you come to temple. But maybe sometimes what us as Dhamma teachers, as parents, as monks, we can do is we can work around your schedule, right? Maybe that's why we can create more time. Instead of making you follow my time, right? Or other people's time, maybe we can work towards your time, right? When you're free, when you have nothing to do. What's the best way, right, to get other people to practice this method? You know, when you see your neighbor or someone else being successful, you start asking yourself, right? What is that person doing to be successful? So if you see your neighbor pull up in a brand new Mercedes or Tesla, you're thinking, wow, that person is doing something very interesting. If you see your friend do something very nice, or maybe they achieve some medals in some event, or maybe they're working out or doing something great, something that you admire, that naturally attracts your attention, right? How did this person do X? How did this person do this thing? What happens next? Well, if you're a smart person, you go up to them and you ask them, hey, I want to know, what did you do to be able to have this? Because I also like it. I want to be like that. That's what the smart person does. They ask. So I believe that the best way to spread this message is for us to embody the message. If we embody loving kindness, compassion, nonviolence, all the good attributes that the Buddha is teaching us, if we do it first and people see how happy and how great your life is, they're going to come and ask you, right? Even if you have like a nice haircut or something, someone will tell you, oh, where did you get your haircut? What product are you using, right? Because they want to be like you. And if they see that you're always happy and you have a good relationship with your family and that your life is awesome, people want to be awesome. People want to be great. They'll come and ask you. So I think the best way to spread this message is for us to be the message, right? Because especially young kids know when it's just talk, right? When someone's just talking. Sometimes adults tell us to do things and we notice that the adults are not doing those things they're telling us to do, right? It seems very hypocritical. So then we find a way of not doing those things. Well, my mom, my dad, my older brother, my teacher, they're not doing what they told me to do. So why should I do it? That's a very good argument, right? That's a very good argument. I can understand why you would think that. But imagine if those people were doing what they were telling you to do, right? And they were happy about doing it. You'd want to do it, at the end of the day. That's why so many people want to be a doctor. People want to get into coding. People want to be TikTok influencers, right? Because they see that other person, they see something that they want or they like in that other person. So in order to share the teachings of the Buddha, we have to be like the Buddha. And then people will come to you and they'll tell you, you know what, like, there's no drama in your life. Like, you're so stress-free. Like, you're not worrying about finals. You're not worrying about, like, homecoming and all this other stuff. Like, you're so chill. Like, what are you doing? Oh, you know what? I practice Dhamma, and that's why I feel so great, and these things are not bothering me. Oh, what is Dhamma? And then you get them. Then they'll want to learn more. So we need to be the ones to practice, right? So if you want your brother or sister to stop being a jerk, you need to stop being a jerk first, right? It has to start with you, right? If you don't like your brother or sister annoying you, you need to stop annoying them first. If you don't like your sisters borrowing your clothes, you need to stop borrowing their clothes too, right? That's just the way it works. So we need to be the one to practice first. I hope that helped you. That was a good answer. I know you have doubts because your parents tell me that when you go home after temple or when you're at home and your parents tell you to practice some form of like do a puja or do chanting or do meditation, your parents say, oh, you know what my child said? They said, they don't know why we do this. What's the point of doing this? Why do we do this? Why is this important? So I know that you're asking them because they tell me, Bhante, how can I explain this? I understand that you're a little shy right now because of everything that's happening. But those questions that you ask your parents, I'm here to kind of help you understand and communicate the message to you. Does anyone here have a particular thing that they find difficult about not doing bad things? Is there any challenges, any obstacles, anything that makes it difficult for you to, not be mean or not be annoying? Do you find anything in your life, maybe some thoughts or feelings or something around you that makes it difficult for you to always be nice or to always, be generous to others? And then we can talk about that and how we can deal with those things, those difficulties. Or maybe anything that makes it difficult for you to be generous and to share. What makes it so difficult for you to share things with your brother and sister or with your family members? I know you guys argue with your parents and your family members and your brothers and sisters. But why? Why does this happen? You can share some things maybe that happen, not in complete detail, but what is it? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it greediness? If you find something difficult in your life, just go ahead and share it, and then we can talk about it and try to figure out how Buddhism can apply to your problems. Because we want to make this about helping you.
Sometimes people don't understand each other.
So that is definitely, I think, a big issue, right? How to apply the Dhamma. How do we use the teachings of the Buddha when people don't understand us, right? One of the things that I think is very difficult is that there might be situations in which some people may not understand us, right? There might be times where there's no way that person can understand us. So what happens when that person can't understand us? Usually we feel maybe frustrated, very frustrated. Maybe if it's someone close to us, we might feel sad that they don't understand us. Maybe we might feel angry because that person doesn't understand us. But if we notice that in this moment this person cannot understand us, we have to ask ourselves a question. What is best for me? Right? What is best for me? Because in this moment, this other person, there's no changing them. There's no way this person's going to understand me. Maybe tomorrow they will, maybe next week, maybe some other time. But in this moment, that person may not. So I need to do then what's best for me in this moment. So is feeling upset about the other person, like being angry at them or disappointed in them, gonna make you happy? No, right? There's no way that being angry at someone is gonna make you happy, because being angry is not being happy. It's the opposite of being happy, right? Or being disappointed in someone not being able to understand you. Being disappointed is not a feeling that feels happy. So in those moments where we're completely frustrated and we can't do anything else, we have to think, what's best for me? And what's best for me is to let it go for the moment, right? Because I want to be happy, right? I need to do what's best for me. So maybe you walk away, maybe you can talk to someone else who might be able to understand you, right? So actually, this goes to a very deep teaching of the Buddha. He said that patience is the highest practice. The highest level of all the practices is patience. So in those situations, we need to practice the highest and the hardest practice of being patient. For the moment, this person is not understanding me. I don't like to feel upset or frustrated. I'm going to let go of that frustration for the moment so I can be happy, right? That still leaves the opportunity open in the future for that. Maybe that person will understand you in the future, but not now. So in this moment, we need to do what's best for us. And sometimes we need to follow, I forgot that princess's name from Frozen. We need to follow her song, right? Which is what? Let it go, right? So sometimes we just do that. And then maybe when the person is a little bit wiser, they can understand us, right? One thing we have to understand is that we can't make anyone do anything. We can't make him. Have you tried to make your brother do things? Does it work? Do you always convince him to do whatever you want? Yeah? It doesn't work, huh? And your parents always try to tell you what to do, right? Does it work? Do you always do what they say? No, right? None of us do. Let's be honest. None of us do, right? So understanding that we can't force people even to understand us. And even though that feels very sad for us that someone can understand us and it's painful, we need to be able to let go of it for the moment for our own health. And then later we can talk about it, okay? So in the moment, we let go, hoping that later in the future, we can come to an understanding instead of beating ourselves up and feeling bad in the moment. I hope that helps you. So for some of you that just joined us, we're just talking about how can we make the Dhamma accessible, practical to your everyday lives, right? What are your concerns so we can address them? How can we help you? Instead of making the Dhamma so complicated, how can we make it simple for your everyday problems?
So I have schoolwork and stuff. So I always go to sleep like really late instead of my time like 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. So you're very busy is what you're saying, right? And because you're very busy, what happens to you?
I struggle to focus.
You struggle to focus, right? And how does that make you feel? Tired, right? And what else comes with tiredness? If you're tired and you can't perform like you did when you're not tired, how do you feel then? Maybe frustrated, right? Maybe disappointed, right? So the Dhamma can help you understand that it's natural to get tired, right? If you work hard, you're going to be tired, right? And then if you work hard, you won't always be able to perform the way you usually did. So here, we may not be able to control your study schedule, right? You might just have a lot of homework to do right now. Some of these things we cannot change. But what we can change is how we see this situation and how we deal with the situation, right? So instead of maybe feeling frustrated or disappointed in ourselves, or maybe even beat ourselves up because we're not doing as good as we wanted to, or as good as we can practice self-compassion. You can tell yourself actually, and I do this too, you've worked so hard. You've been studying so hard. You work all the way till late at night. Of course you're going to be tired. Anyone here would be tired if they worked as hard as you. It's a natural thing to feel. And when we're tired, we cannot perform to the same level that we did before, right? Because we're tired. In those moments, you can practice self-compassion. Be nice to yourself. Don't be critical about your performance. Care about yourself. Be like, I understand that you're tired because you work so hard, and I appreciate that you work so hard. Thank you for working so hard. Have that inner dialogue, that nice inner dialogue, instead of thinking about all the bad things. Well, I may not get as good of a grade. I'm not as good as I'm supposed to be. I'm frustrated. I'm sad. I'm disappointed. I'm angry. Because those things are not going to help you actually study. They're going to make it more difficult. So if we can't change the situation, then we need to kind of help ourselves see the situation in a different way. And the best way to see that situation is from a perspective of loving kindness and compassion towards ourselves, right? So another thing, what I would hope is that the parents also too realize this, right? Because the parents are the ones setting the schedule, right? And signing you up for honors and AP classes. They're the ones putting this on you, right? So actually, parents also need to have this kind of vision and know what their child's limits are, right? And be receptive and understand, like the young lady was saying, what the kid is going through. As I said earlier, sometimes parents have so much love for their kids that they want them to do the best, And that might lead to putting their children in, more stressful situations. But it's never that they have a bad intention. But that's definitely something that parents can also work on. So I think communicating, right? Being able to communicate that with your parents or with your teacher about anything in life that's overwhelming you or frustrating you, and not having that fear or what will they think about me is something that we have to consider. And also the parents. So I know the parents are watching this with the children. The parents also need to practice loving kindness and compassion towards their children by giving the kids enough work that they can do. Some kids, they can do a lot of work, right? And they want to do more work. So for those kids, maybe you give them more. Some kids, less. So those kids, we give less, right? So the parent has to be very skillful and know where their child's at, you know? Are they here? Are they there? And then manage their life according to that, right? So for you in the moment, just try to be nicer to yourself, right? When you see yourself tired, or maybe you don't get the grade that you wanted to, be kind to yourself because you work hard and you're not perfect. And of course, because you're tired, things are not going to go the way you want. And that's okay because you are working hard. That's why you're tired, because you're working hard, right? So be nice to yourself, I would say. There's where we can start, by practicing some self-compassion. Okay, so let's do a quick review because I know our minds are everywhere and we might have forgotten already what we talked about earlier. So number 1 was what? Not to do any bad, right? Number 2 was to do good. And number 3 was to purify your mind. That just means think good things, right? That's all it means. It means be happy, be joyful, be peaceful, be calm, be chill, be relaxed. Cultivate that, right? So those are the 3 tasks I have for you. Buddhism doesn't have to be so complicated. This is Buddhism in 3 steps, or the top 3 Buddhist practices that you can use in your everyday life. So I'm so happy, I'm so glad that all of you were able to join us, that you participated, that you showed up here, that you asked questions, and all of you online too, that you're here. And it appears that we have one more question. Yes. Bhante from Chandima. How can I motivate my child to meditate daily for at least 10 minutes, knowing it helps to improve focus and peace of mind, balanced life, and education? I think this is very similar to the question that the young lady, or the answer I gave the young lady earlier, is that we need to be the ones to do it first, right? If your parents never clean the house and they ask you to clean the house, you're not going to take that very good, right? You'd be like, why do I have to clean it? You're not cleaning anything. So if you want your child to practice 10 minutes of meditation, you need to start practicing 10 minutes of meditation first, right? Not only that, you need to show them the benefits of meditation. If you practice meditation 10 minutes and then you get up and you scold at your child, why aren't you practicing meditation? Why aren't you doing this? The child's going to say, why should I practice meditation? It only makes me an angry person. You see? You have to show them the benefits. But if your child sees that you deal with stress, with anger, with sadness very well, that you're a calm and compassionate parent, they'll be like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe there is something to this, because when I do a lot of work, I get stressed. But when my mom does a lot of work or my dad does a lot of work, they practice meditation, they don't get stressed. Maybe I will try meditation, right? Maybe you don't get them to practice 10 minutes, but you'll make them curious. They'll want to, try it at least. So we need to start off with ourselves first and show them the benefits. Not tell them the benefits. Oh, the Buddha said it's good for you. Science says mindfulness meditation is good for you. That's just words. We need to show. So parents, anything that you want to teach your children, you need to show them why you're doing it. And do it to the same degree as they do it, right? If you want them to practice 20 minutes, 30 minutes, if you want them to do chanting, if you want them to come to Dhama school, you need to come with them and be here with them too, right? So that's my advice. Basically what I said earlier is we need to be the Dhamma first for others to practice the Dhamma. So I was saying earlier, now that we don't have any more questions and we're coming close, near to the end of our time, I just wanted to thank all the children online, in person, for coming here today, for sharing these questions, for staying active, being curious, and hopefully you're able to apply this in your life. Even if you're able just to apply the one, right? Not to harm. Don't kill. Not even a fly. Not even an ant or a spider. Not even pushing your brother or sister. If you can follow this one rule of non-harming, then you've done very good. You're practicing Dhamma, right? So I'm just trying to make it very, very simple for you today. So I'm so happy that you all came. Once again, I would like to thank Bhante. I would like to thank the Mahasangha and everyone who came, who made this event possible. By participating in this event, by listening to the Dhamma and all these other Dhamma activities and things that we did today, you have accumulated a lot of punya karma kusala kamma, by the power of this wholesome, meritorious actions, by the power of these good actions, thoughts, and speech, may you be well, happy, comfortable, and peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.